So let's discuss about this inquiries and reports in accounts receivable. So normally in accounts receivable, we have many standard reports which would help the stakeholders or the business for with different details on the side of sales or as well as the turnovers, trade, and the other details related to the payments received from the customers and all. So let's see what all we have. I'll just close all this. Suppose if I go to inquiries and reports here, we have credit card histories, credit card issues, and gift card invoice. So most of them are related to the credit card option, if at all you enable it and use it. So mostly into retail as well as into sales and marketing. Then this is with sales tax history in case if you have taxes applicable for all the trade that you have done until. So you will see that history here. Commission transactions list report, if we have that option of enabling commissions for the customer's trade. So if that is there, if the commission is being transferred, so you have that commission transactions list here. Then you have open transactions list here, report here, which would generally give you the customer's open transactions, which is also very important, which would help you understand how many open transactions are there in the system, regardless if it is an invoice or a payment. It will also make you understand if you are have to settle something with something for a particular customer, or if there are any open transactions for customers. It would help you understand what are there, and you can go with collections for the same. So just let me try to run this report, open transactions report. It will take a while since it's the first report that we are generating today. So open transactions as per which date it is asking, you can go for today's date. And you can also include the records like customer or customer group or any voucher number if required. You can run this in the batch job if necessary, or you can run it on the screen. It's up to you. I'll just kept it as screen, so I'll just run it on the screen. Now, if you feel like it's a very big report and would take some time, if you run it on the screen, it would block the screen for loading the report. So for that, in that case, you can run it in the batch job. So in the back end, it will run automatically in the batch without hindering your operation that you are doing on the screen. So it will run in the batch and it will go and sit in a place called print archive. So you can see this report. Customer wise, there are only 2 customers in our company. So I see this for this customer. There are 3 open transactions for customer number 1, and for customer number there are 4 open transactions. But I guess for customer number 1 we have settled transactions yesterday, right? Okay, I have settled the transactions for later date maybe. So we have run this report for today's date, and according to today's date, so there are only this transactions open actually. But we have even also settled them yesterday, I think. But let's see that. Anyway, for this customer, we have these 4 open transactions, out of which this 2500 debit and credit. So it can be, we have this one as well as this one, 2 of them open transactions. Okay. And other than this, we have history by transaction report, which would give you a detailed uh, transactions. I mean, history of the transactions, what you have done, posted. So you can also run this report. This report is also there on the accounts payable side. Then once we have is transactions report. So this would generally give you the list of transactions, either open, closed, or you can select whatever you want. Only open transactions, also include reverse transactions according to the invoice date, exchange rates. Or adjusted date means, adjustment date means if in case if you run the foreign currency revaluation, it will adjust them. So according to that, if you want, you can run it, and you can run it on the screen. So let's try this one as well. Only open on all the transactions, including the reverse transactions, and click on OK. So it is here. For this customer, we have posted these many transactions already. So these are the list of transactions we have posted, and so sorted on the basis of, not on the basis of date actually. I think on the basis of voucher number they are sorted. And here we have second customer, and these are the 4 transactions we posted for the customer. You can see the grand total on the debit side and the credit side. So on the debit side, it's 46,707.50. On the credit side, it's the same. Means how much trade you have done. You have also received the amount from the customer. So both debiting the customer here and crediting the customer amount, both are the same. Means like, whereas it comes to here, you have debited the customer for 2,950, but you received from the customer 4,000. Means you have received some extra amount from the customer, which you might have to refund or further process trade for that particular advance amount. And this is the grand total of both the customers. That's it. Then most important reports would be customer account statement is one, and customer report gives you the details of the customers. Customers to ledger reconciliation is one very important report. Let's try to run this one, customer account statement, and see what we have in it. So from date it is asking, I'll say from 1st of October to 31st of December, include reversed payments balance other than 0 means, so account statement with a closing balance of 0 are not printed. If you have any customers with a balance of 0, it's not printed on. Show payment schedules. If payment schedules are applicable, it will show them by breaking the invoices according to the payment schedule. It will also show the credit limit in case if you have any. Due until, I'll say due until March 31st. Let's see. And that would be all. So maturity distribution, actually, you can apply the aging period definition for the maturity distribution. Means when the customer balances are getting matured. So accordingly, if you apply the aging period definition here, it's not here, but if you apply it, you can, or if you can apply manual intervals like 1 month, so that according to that, it will divide the payments on a monthly basis into different buckets. Then let's try to run this report. So here you can see this report, customer account statement for the customer Walmart, customer number 2, where the 4 transactions that we have posted for him due per 31st March 2022. So all these transactions are getting due. You can see the due dates of these transactions and the dates that when the invoice was posted and the invoice numbers. So one of them is a credit note anyway. Then you can see this one, maturity. So in December only you had to pay 1050 actually. So this customer, I mean, we have received advance payments only. So this report is showing just the advance payments of 1050 here in December. Coming to February, we have to receive 450 amount from the customer. But for March, it is showing the payment amounts again, the 1500 pending. It's not showing the first customer. Okay, the first customer is settled, right? Already everything is settled. There is nothing open for them. So it's not showing that statement actually. So this is also a good report which would clearly evaluate the what are the list of transactions there open for the customer, and then in this particular box it will show you the due transactions getting due as per this particular date that you have given, and it will also divide it into the buckets in which month how much then we have to receive from the customer. So accordingly you can plan your collections from this customer. Then sorry, I have one here. This is for customer number 1 actually it is showing, but all of them are settled actually, but due for 31st December 2022. It is still showing due. We have settled it right. 27/12/2021 it is showing due. And here we have one. That's 20,000, but I think this is also settled for this customer. We don't have anything open for this customer mostly. The debited is showing 20,000 and the credited is not showing anything. Closing balance. Let's check it once. Customers. This customer balance. It's zero only. Actually, it seems to be settled, but the issue is might be because of dates. We might have settled transactions of later dates as well. So that could be the reason. Then what else we have? Customer report generally gives the overview of the customer details. So this is just the basic details of the customer, like name, address, their phone numbers, and communication details, as well as the default details of the invoice account, vendor account linked to it, if in case currency, terms of payment, cash discounts, and other line discounts and multiple line discount for the two customers. Then we have customer to ledger reconciliation report. So this report would help you to understand the differences between the subledger module to general ledger, in case if there is any difference from accounts payable to uh, accounts receivable to general ledger. So I'll just give a posting profile here as the same general posting profile here as well, and here as well as a general posting profile. Include details. If you want to see only the differences, you can enable this, or if you want to see everything, you don't have to enable this. So just click on OK. It will show you the comparison of how it have impacted the customer accounts as well as the accounts receivable account linked to the customer. It is showing only one transaction for main account 1500, 1,50,000. So it's accounts receivable account for which we only gave one date. I'm sorry for that. Run the customer legend. Two dates from that. I think I gave 1st of December only. From 1st of December to 31st of December, I'm just giving. Then I'll run this report for the 30 days. So here on for this particular main account, accounts receivable, we have posted a lot of transactions like customer payments, free text invoices, and the original sales order invoices or the credit notes as well. So you can see the balances, how customer balance is affected when you posted such transaction, that is here, and how ledger balance is impacted. So when you posted this payment transaction, customer is credited with 1,000, as well as the accounts receivable account is also credited with 1,000. So there is no difference as such. Sometimes there can be loss of link or some kind of issues which would cause difference between the subledger to general ledger. So that kind of differences you can identify here, but here you don't have any differences, which means there is a fair accounting and there weren't any mistakes or wrong settlements or wrong postings which would de-link the customer transactions to the ledger. Sometimes what happens is few of the customer transactions we might post them, but they will not affect the uh, general ledger. Sometimes vouchers will struck in the particular batch job where it is in general ledger. I'll show you in that particular area. The vouchers will accumulate and struck up there. Once we release them, then only they'll get posted into general ledger. Until then, we can see the effect in customer balance, but we could not see the effect in ledger balance until the voucher is released. So then you will see the difference here. So it's we can identify such kind of vouchers which were not posted into general ledger and struck up in that batch job. So that batch job would actually be here in general ledger, and periodic tasks, subledger entries not yet transferred. It's not only the accounts receivable entries, maybe anything like accounts payable entries or accounts receivable entries or fixed asset entries. Sometimes they get struck up here in this subledger entries not yet transferred batch job. So when you do not identify a voucher for a particular product receipt or an invoice, even though after posting you could not find a voucher, you can see that that voucher is struck up here. You can select that voucher and click on transfer now, which means it will automatically get transferred to general ledger, and then after that you can see that voucher linking to the invoice, and for that invoice you will see that voucher. So if this voucher is not moved from here, so you don't have that voucher posted into general ledger. However, invoice is posted in the accounts payable or accounts receivable, which would make effect for the customer or vendor balance there. But this voucher will not affect the main account balances, so which is not correct, and because of that you might identify some differences too in that particular ledger to uh, customer to ledger reconciliation report. So that's one thing. Remember this one. So remember the name subledger journal entry is not yet transferred, which is under periodic tasks in general ledger. Then we'll go back to accounts receivable. Then what we have is customer turnover report is something that we have. You can also use this to understand how much trade that you have done with this particular customer or for the with the customers. You can also run this report for individually for customers if required. So with this customer one, so totally we have done this much of trade. Miscellaneous charges are like this. Total miscellaneous charges are 50. So amount including charges is 45,200. With other customer, so it's 450 and 450. Totally 45,600 and 45,650. This is the only amount of invoice I think we have posted for this customer. Other one was removed. I mean, we have done a credit note, I think. But with this, we have done this much invoicing or trade. We have sold this much goods. That's how. The credit notes or reversals are excluded here. I mean, the goods that you have returned or invoices that you have posted as a credit note are excluded or removed, and the rest of all is invoice. I mean, rest of all is summed up here. Then on the order side, back order lines or something like the orders that you are expecting delivery, but the delivery is delayed. So you can see those back order lines which have surpassed the delivery date, but you did not receive the orders. Then ledger posting for sales orders, which can see the packing slip entries as well as the invoice entries on the sales orders for this ledger postings for sales orders. You can give a date interval or this particular month. Okay, just go. For each account, I think it will show you the transactions. Here it is. You can see for the accounts receivable. So these are the transactions that are affecting the accounts receivable account. You can see these are all the these are all the sales order packing slip plus the invoice transaction. So accounts receivable account mostly comes in place of the uh, invoice situation only. So we can consider all of them as the invoice vouchers to say. So the accounts receivable account is used these many times in the until now in the December month. So it's being debited and credited in the sales orders. So it can be these two can be written orders or credit notes. I think the rest of all are normal sales order invoices. Then inventory delivered account is also used, which means this This account also got affected during the time of invoice, right? So by account wise, we have the transactions listed out. Then inventory invoiced at sale means this account will come at the time of invoice, but this inventory delivered account will come at the time of packing slip as well as invoice. At the time of invoice, you have this reversal, right? So that's how. Then you can go to the next page as well, where you can have the other accounts. Like inventory invoiced at sale is still continued, and third party charges payable account, which means you can for this particular third party charges payable account, this has also appeared in the sales trade. I mean in the sales orders invoice place, and you can see the sum of them. One time you have used it for 1,000, and subscription revenue also appeared for 50, and then sales revenue account is affected with this much of credits as well as debits. Debits are for reversals actually, credit is for the original sales order invoices. Then miscellaneous expense also came into place. Cost of goods delivered was also in place for the packing slip. So by account, the transactions that are posted for the sales order in different situations like packing slip or invoice or the charges transactions, everything are involved in this particular report of ledger postings for sales orders. Okay, I think you can also sort it out by the order or the customer when you run this report. And just go back. We'll go to this one again. So this one, right, that we have run. You can also include the main account as well if you want to, or I think you can also change the filters. Like you can go with particular sales order or for particular customer. So you have to change the tables here first. So depending on the tables, you will see the other details. General, so mostly you are seeing only the general ledger tables here. All of them are general ledger tables. I don't see the customer tables getting involved. Hmm. So created time and date, then transaction type and voucher number you have. Okay. Coming to main account ledger, main account type, and other partitions. Okay. You can also run it through legal entities if you want to. Multiple. Okay. Currency and chart of accounts. I don't have this option of sales order here, but I think we can run it for this details available, or we can also add a table, but in this also you will see the same tables, but not the different tables. I don't see many tables, it's only these many tables are the extensions we have. So you can use these filters for making the report crispy if you want to, or I mean to shorten the details by filtering it with any of the main account if necessary, or the journal number if required. Other than this, what else we have? Let's go back. Order lines not invoiced report. So this should be the report which would show you the sales order lines which are not yet invoiced. If you want all the details of the goods, you can enable them and you can run this. This report is something related to the supply chain, but still you can see the sales order lines which are not yet invoiced. So there are no lines actually which are not invoiced. Most of the order lines are invoiced, I think. So I was guessing this report will show the details of the goods that are delivered but not invoiced. And invoices like invoice history, invoice journal. This is one of the good inquiry, invoice journal, where you can see the list of invoices you have posted until now for all the customers. So these are the list of invoices we have posted for both the customers until now, customer 1 and customer 2. So you can always filter it with one customer if you want to filter the invoices of customer, or if you want to filter it by the invoice number, you can use this option here. You can filter it by clicking on this filter. Here you can enter anything. Then if you want to filter by date or date range, you can enter this, or by sales order. So you always have the options, and you can select one of the order if required and go for voucher and other details or charges. And if you want to adjust any charges after posting it, you can also do that actually. But I don't see that option here. So this is a free text invoice. Right? Let's go for this one. Sales order invoice. Here also I'm not unable to see, but you should have that option of adding the charges or adjusting the charges to the order, which was posted on the late date. Let's say this one. Charges, no. No charges are accounted. It's not showing up any charges for these orders. Mhm. So you can also use this area to print the invoices if you want to. You have this option of copy preview or original preview. You can select one or two invoices and print them. Suppose if I want to print this invoice and send it to the customer, you can go to this option view and copy view and all, or you can also send original or copy. So if I go to view original preview, it will just show me the original invoice copy, or it will print it on the screen, and we can also link it to the printer and print it. So here you can see the printed invoice detail. So customer address and our address, then the basic details on the order, invoice account number as well as sales order number, and then the item number, quantity, price, sum up, and due date, and the cash discount when payment before 31st, the 1st of January, 3rd of January 2022, they'll get this much of discount. That's what it is saying. Okay, so you can print this invoice or export it into any format, and you can send it to the customer. If printer is linked, you can also print it by using this option print actually, so that you can generate such invoices, or if you lose the invoice, you can again come back here and print the invoice once again if necessary. That's what you have. Then so we, other than that, we have customer invoice transactions report. Customer invoice journal report and invoice turnover report. Let's see this one, customer invoice transactions report. Dimension focus. Okay, that's okay. You can give main account plus any dimensions if required, but I'll just give the main account. From date December 31st to date 31st. Open invoices, paid invoices, or both the invoices. I'll say both of them and run it. So these are the list of invoices. And the invoice amount. So only for one order, I think there is some charge. And these are the invoice amounts and amount in accounting currency on those particular invoices. These are the invoices that we have posted until now. So for the customer DMart as well as the Walmart. So here you can see these are free text invoices which does not involve sales order, and the rest all are the sales order invoices. It is showing the list of date, invoice number, sales order number, customer account, invoice account, which are the same, name of the customer and not the name of the delivery address, currency and charges involved, invoice amount and amount in accounting currency field, which is the same actually. In case if the invoice is a foreign invoice, so you will see the invoice amount in foreign currency and the amount in accounting currency if a translated amount. Then what we have, I think this one, shipped not invoiced report, is something which would show you the list of lines which are delivered but not invoiced. Goods that are delivered but not invoiced. You can see that report here, and you can see the payment related reports. So for the bills of exchanges, if there are any, and post dated checks if there are any, and payment fees and customer posted payment journal report. So it will give you the list of payment transactions that you have posted on the customer side. I think post-dated checks we did not use on the customer side. It works more or less the same like the accounts payable, and there's nothing different. But you can also use it if you want to. Let's say let's go for this posting a, since we have completed this report, let's go for posting a post-dated check on the customer side. So for that, there I think we have done all the required configurations. Let's try it from the payments and payment journal. Let's try to generate it. So what is the actual payment entry when we get when we pay the customer? What is the payment customer payment entry? What is debited and what is credited, guys, when we make a payment? Customer account or the AR account is debited or credited? Sorry, when the customer makes a payment to us, not when we make a payment. Sorry. Customer account or the accounts receivable account will be debited or credited when customer makes a payment to the business or when we receive payment from the customer. It is debited. So this is the original payment entry. But in case of post-dated checks, we know that first entry will not get posted to the bank account, but instead of bank account, the PDC account will be used. And later we can clear that PDC transaction. So let's see how it will work on the accounts receivable side. I'll just create a new payment journal. Then select the customer payment journal and go to lines. So just select the customer account. I'll select the other customer like Walmart for, let's say, suppose I'll just taking time. I'll go and settle one of the invoice of this Walmart. So I'll select this one, this $450 invoice actually. Okay. No cash discount involved, and for customer is being credited here, and customer is issuing as a post-dated check. So I'll select the method of payment as PDC, which we have already configured. So once I select this, automatically the offset account will be filled up because we have given that account in the method of payment earlier as the bridging account or the PDC account. So it is here, this one. PDC customers account is given here, and we are enabling this bridging posting and post-dated check clearing posting. So you can see here method of payment is PDC, and automatically the offset account is selected as uh, PDC customers account. Let me see what is the thing that we have given here. Received status. Okay. I'll then change the payment status to received. If you want a payment reference, you can give a payment reference like the number of the check. You can give one. If you want to print a deposit slip, okay, but deposit slip will not be printed in this situation because you're not going to deposit this check, right? You're just receiving and booking it as a post-dated check. So you can also use it, but as and when you deposit it, you can run the deposit slip option, or you can print the deposit slip for that date if you want to. But I'm just leaving it over. And for the post-dated check, here you can give the maturity date of the check. So when this check will get matured, you can give here. So received date is it is system is taking as 28th, and suppose if it is maturing on 30th, or if we gave that we have to drop the check on first 3rd of January, let's say, suppose that time we will have funds in account and customer issued the check for 3rd of January. So you cannot cash this check before 3rd of January. You can only cash it on or after 3rd of January. So the maturity date of the check is 3rd of January, which I gave here. You can also give the check number and again here if you want to, 789, and you can validate this and post it. Validate it and you can post it. Well, it is posted, and you can also see the voucher after it is getting posted. Accounts receivable is credited and PDC customer account is debited. PDC customer's account. So instead of bank account, this account is used temporarily until the maturity date of the check is here. And if you would and cash the check, deposit in the bank and cash the check, you can clear this PDC account. Until then, it works as the bridging account. So what happens when you use that account? Or for now, it is the PDC customer's account, right? Let's say suppose PDC account is debited. Once you the clearing entry is PDC account will be credited here and bank account will be debited on the clearing account, clearing entry on maturity date of check. So this will be the entry. So PDC account will both debited and credited, and it will become zero. Finally, the entry remaining will be accounts receivable credit and bank account debit. That would be the last entry. So in order to clear this on the maturity date, you have an option here in the payments itself. I'm sorry, and it should be in the inquiries and reports. Where is this? Which we are seeing, yeah, customer post-dated checks. Here we have under inquiries and reports under payments. Click on customer post-dated checks, and you can see this one here. So the maturity date is 1st of 3rd of January 2022. You can once it is uh, maturity, once the maturity date is here, you can go to settle and you can then settle clearing entries, or you can cancel it if you require to cancel it. So if you cancel it, it will post the reversal entry for the same of for the first entry, so the reversal for this one. But if you clear this or settle this, what happens is you will get this entry automatically. It will get posted in the general ledger. This entry will get posted, which would clear the PDC account and debit the bank account, explaining that check is cashed and money is deposited into the bank. So that's what happens, and you can do that from here, or you can generally also clear it from the general ledger. We have seen that option of clearing the bridging entries from general ledger as well. Earlier we have discussed, so that you can do it in that situation.